He almost didn't show up. That detail matters because everything that followed depended on a choice made out of quiet defiance. Not hope. Not loneliness. Just refusal to be controlled one more time. Malik had learned how people looked at him when they thought he needed saving. The pity dressed up as concern. The nudges disguised as jokes. He stopped explaining himself years ago. So when his friends decided his life needed intervention, he already knew what this was meant to be. A story they'd tell later. He walked into the restaurant expecting humiliation or, worse, disappointment he'd have to politely survive. Instead, he found her. Not waiting. Not performing. Just present. And something in the air shifted before a single word was exchanged. This wasn't attraction. Not yet. It was recognition. The kind that feels dangerous because it asks nothing but honesty and threatens everything you've carefully contained. By the end of that night, Malik would realize the joke wasn't the date. It was how easily his life could change once he stopped guarding it, and the cost of pretending he didn't care anymore. Before we continue, let me know in the comment where you're watching from today and what time is over there. Let's continue. The text arrives during breakfast. Malik watches his daughter, Nia, push scrambled eggs around her plate while humming something off-key. The kitchen smells like burnt toast, and the vanilla air freshener she insists makes everything better. Morning light cuts through the window at an angle that makes the counters look cleaner than they are. His phone buzzes. Tonight, 7 p.m., Verona's. Don't overthink it. He doesn't respond. 3 more messages follow in quick succession. Different names. Same energy. His friends have coordinated. They think they're being subtle. Malik sets the phone face down. Dad, you're making that face, Nia says without looking up. What face? The one where you're annoyed, but pretending you're not. He smiles despite himself. She's too observant for 10. Too steady. Sometimes he wonders if she inherited that from him or if grief taught her early. Just work stuff, he says. She nods, unconvinced. By noon, the messages multiply. Then the calls. Marcus leaves a voicemail that starts with laughter and ends with something close to pleading. Man, just go. What's the worst that happens? Malik knows the answer to that. The worst is showing up and confirming what they already believe, that he's stuck, that he needs rescuing, that his life is a problem requiring their solution. He deletes the voicemail. At 6:30, he's still home. Nia's at her grandmother's for the night. The house settles into its usual quiet, the kind that used to comfort him. Now just waits. He could stay, pour a drink, let the evening pass undisturbed. But something shifts in his chest. Not hope, not curiosity, defiance. He changes his shirt, checks his reflection, leaves before he can reconsider. The drive takes 15 minutes. He parks 2 blocks away and walks the rest, delaying arrival without admitting why. Verona's glows warm against the evening. Couples drift in and out. Laughter spills through the entrance. Malik stops at the door. His hand rests on the handle. He could turn around, send an apology text, let them have their story without him in it. Instead, he pulls the door open and steps inside. The hostess greets him with rehearsed warmth. She doesn't wait for a name, just gestures toward the back. Your party is already seated. Malik nods, though the phrase your party sits wrong. This isn't his anything. The restaurant hums with low conversation and clinking silverware. Chandeliers cast gold light across white tablecloths. Everyone here looks comfortable, like they belong in spaces that cost too much and expect too little. He doesn't. His shirt suddenly feels too tight. His shoes too loud against the tile. The hostess leads him past couples leaning close, past waiters balancing trays with practiced ease. Each step deeper into the room tightens something in his chest. This was a mistake, not the date itself. He hasn't even seen her yet, but agreeing to be seen like this. Evaluated, measured against someone else's idea of what he needs. The hostess stops at a table near the windows. It's set for two. Empty. She'll be right with you. The woman says, smiling as if this is reassurance. Malik sits. The chair scrapes louder than necessary. He folds his hands on the table, unfolds them, reaches for the water glass just to have something to do. Around him, life continues unbothered. A man laughs too loud 3 tables over. A woman adjusts her necklace while nodding at something her date says. Waiters glide between stations like they're choreographed. Malik checks his phone. No new messages. 7:15. She's late. Or she's not coming. Both options feel like relief and humiliation at once. He considers leaving, just standing up and walking out before this becomes a story anyone can tell. But his body doesn't move. The minutes stretch. 7:20. 7:25. He's reaching for his wallet when movement catches his eye. She appears at the entrance, speaking briefly to the hostess. Not rushing, not scanning the room with panic or apology. Just present. She's dressed in red. Simple, elegant, nothing that demands attention but commands it anyway. Her hair is pulled back, sharp and controlled. She walks toward him without hesitation, her gaze steady. When she reaches the table, she doesn't smile or offer excuses. She just sits. You're here because of a setup too, she says. Not a question, a statement. Malik exhales something he didn't know he was holding. Yeah, she nods once, as if confirming something she already suspected. I'm Irene. Malik. Silence settles between them. Not awkward, just deliberate. She picks up the menu without hurry. He does the same, and for the first time tonight, the room stops pressing in on him. If this story is already pulling at something inside you, help me prove something wrong. My mother said I wouldn't even reach 1,000 subscribers, but I believe stories like this deserve to be heard. Help me show her that these tales matter. Please subscribe to my channel, Simple Soul Stories, and let's keep breathing life into stories that were never meant to stay silent. Now, let's continue. They don't order right away. The waiter approaches twice, smiling with professional patience. Both times, Irene waved him off without looking up. Malik appreciates that. The refusal to perform urgency just because someone's watching. When the waiter retreats a 3rd time, she sets the menu down. They mean well, she says. Ooh, whoever set this up. Malik leans back slightly. Your friends or mine? Does it matter? Her tone carries no bitterness, just clarity. They see a gap and decide it needs filling, like we're puzzles missing pieces. He nods. He's heard versions of this before, from people who think grief has an expiration date, that solitude equals sadness, that choosing quiet means choosing nothing. They think I'm stuck, he says. They think I'm cold. The honesty surprises him, not because it's vulnerable, because it's precise. Irene reaches for her water, takes a slow sip, then sets the glass down with care. Everything she does seems measured, not performative, just intentional. My ex used to say that, she continues, that I didn't know how to let people in. He'd say it in front of others like it was funny. Like my boundaries were a flaw he was generously tolerating. Malik recognizes the shape of that, how people reframe control as concern, how they make you the problem for resisting what they've already decided you need. How long ago, he asks. 6 months. You. 3 years. She doesn't flinch at the math, doesn't offer condolences or try to compare losses. She just nods, absorbing the information without needing to solve it. Was it sudden? She asks. Cancer. 2 years from diagnosis to he stops. He doesn't need to finish. Long enough to prepare. Not long enough for it to matter. Irene's expression doesn't shift into pity. It stays level. Present. I don't miss him, she says after a moment. I miss who I thought I could be with him. Before I realized I was performing the whole time. The waiter returns. This time they order without discussion, picking dishes at random just to move forward. When he leaves, the silence returns. But it's different now. Less cautious. More shared. My daughter asks about her sometimes, Malik says. My wife. Not often. But when she does, it's always sideways. Like she's testing if it's still okay to bring her up. What do you say? That it's always okay. That she doesn't have to protect me. Irene's gaze softens just barely. Does she believe you? I don't know. The food arrives. They eat slowly, conversation drifting between small truths and comfortable pauses. She tells him about leaving a life that looked perfect from the outside. He tells her about learning to braid hair from YouTube tutorials. Time slips, not in the way it does when something's ending. In the way it does when something's just begun and neither of them is rushing to name it. Dessert sits untouched between them. Malik hasn't thought about the time in over an hour. Hasn't checked his phone. Hasn't felt the pressure to perform or exit gracefully. Irene rests her chin on her hand, watching the room beyond him. Her posture hasn't changed much all evening, straight-backed, contained, but something about her presence feels less defended now. Do you do this often? She asks. Blind dates set up by people who think they know better? She smiles faintly. That's one way to phrase it. Never. You. Once before. 3 years ago. It lasted exactly 12 minutes before he started explaining investment portfolios I already manage. Malik laughs quietly. How long did you stay? 45 minutes. Felt rude to leave sooner. She tilts her head. What made you stay tonight? The question catches him off guard. Not because it's intrusive, because he doesn't have a clean answer. I'm still figuring that out, he says. She nods, satisfied with the honesty. The waiter clears their plates. Offers coffee. They both decline. Outside, the street has emptied slightly. Fewer cars. Softer noise. The evening cooling into something gentler. I should go, Irene says, but she doesn't move. Neither does Malik. Can I ask you something? He says. Go ahead. Why'd you come tonight? If you knew it was a setup. She considers the question longer than he expects. Her fingers trace the edge of her water glass. Curiosity, she finally says. And spite. I wanted to prove I could sit through it without flinching. Did you? I don't know yet. The check arrives. Malik reaches for it automatically, but Irene's already placed her card down. We'll split it, she says, not asking. He doesn't argue. They walk outside together. The air smells like rain that hasn't fallen yet. Streetlights hum low. Malik stops near the curb. This wasn't what I expected. Good or bad? Neither. Just different. Irene looks at him directly. Not searching, just seeing. I don't usually do this, she says. Do what? Give my number to someone I just met. But, she pulls out her phone. But I don't think I'm ready for this to be the last time we talk. Malik takes out his own phone, hand steady. They exchange numbers without ceremony. No promises about calling soon or seeing each other again. Just information. Just possibility. Good night, Malik. Good night, Irene. She walks toward a sleek black car parked half a block away. He watches until she's inside, until the taillights disappear around the corner. Then he stands there a moment longer, letting the evening settle. His phone buzzes. A message from Marcus. How'd it go? Malik types a response, deletes it, then just sends, fine. But when he gets in his car, he's still smiling. For days pass. Malik doesn't text first. Not because he's playing games. He just doesn't know what to say. I enjoyed meeting you feels too formal. Want to grab coffee? Feels too casual. So he waits. Nia notices. She doesn't say anything directly, but she watches him more carefully. Catches him staring at his phone during breakfast. Sees him pick it up, then set it down without checking. You're being weird, she says on the third day. How so? You keep smiling at nothing. He wasn't aware he was smiling. On the fifth day, his phone vibrates during a meeting. Is this still Malik, or did I imagine that entire evening? Relief floods through him before he can stop it. He types back quickly. Still me. Was starting to think the same thing. 3 dots appear. Disappear. Appear again. Coffee tomorrow? He responds immediately. Yeah. Where? They settle on a place near the park. Neutral ground. Low pressure. Malik spends the rest of the day distracted. His coworkers notice, but don't comment. He leaves early, picks Nia up from school, and tries to act normal. At dinner, she sets her fork down and looks at him seriously. Are you seeing someone? He freezes mid-bite. What makes you ask that? You're nervous. You only get nervous when something matters. He should deflect. Keep things private until there's something real to explain. But Nia's staring at him with those steady eyes that miss nothing. I met someone, he says carefully. We're just talking. Nothing serious. Do I get to meet her? Eventually. Maybe. If it becomes something. Nia nods, processing. Okay. Yeah. Just don't be weird about it. He laughs despite himself. I'll try. That night, he lies awake longer than usual. Not anxious, just aware of how much space fear has occupied, of how much easier it's been to stay contained than risk feeling something uncertain. His phone lights up on the nightstand. Another message from Irene. I'm nervous about tomorrow. Thought you should know. He types back without hesitation. Me too. Good. See you at 10. He sets the phone down, closes his eyes, and for the first time in years, anticipation doesn't feel like a threat. The coffee shop is quiet when Malik arrives. Irene's already there, seated near the window with a cup in front of her. She's dressed casually today, jeans, a sweater, hair loose around her shoulders. She looks softer, less armored. He orders at the counter, then slides into the seat across from her. Hey. They smile at the awkwardness of it, of trying to recapture what felt easy 4 days ago. The conversation starts slowly. Small things. Work. Weather. Nia's latest school project. But within minutes, the rhythm returns. The pauses don't feel forced. The silence doesn't need filling. An hour passes, then another. Want to walk? Irene asks. Yeah. They leave their empty cups behind and step into the late morning. The park stretches wide and green ahead of them, scattered with joggers and families. They walk without destination, side by side, close but not touching. I don't do this often, Irene says after a while. Walk. Let people in. Malik glances at her. She's staring straight ahead, face calm but voice tight. You don't have to explain, he says. I want to. She pauses. My ex made everything feel conditional, like I was always one mistake away from losing his approval. So I stopped making mistakes, stopped doing anything that wasn't controlled. Malik listens without interrupting. It took me 3 years to leave, she continues. Not because I loved him, because I didn't know how to admit I'd wasted that much time on someone who made me smaller. Before Malik can respond, Irene stops walking. Her body goes rigid. He follows her gaze. A man stands near the fountain 30 feet away. Tall, well-dressed, watching them with an expression that's too calm, too familiar. Irene, the man calls, voice carrying easy confidence. She doesn't move. The man walks toward them, slow, deliberate. When he reaches them, he barely glances at Malik. His focus stays locked on Irene. "Didn't expect to see you here," he says, tone pleasant. "Poisonous. I'm busy, Trevor. I can see that." Now he looks at Malik. Assessing. Dismissive. "Friend of yours?" Malik doesn't speak. He doesn't need to. Trevor smiles. "Well, don't let me interrupt." He steps back, hands raised in mock surrender. "Good seeing you, Irene. Call me when you're done." Exploring. He walks away without waiting for a response. Irene stands frozen, her breathing shallow, controlled. Malik waits. After a long moment, she turns to him. "I should go. Irene, please." Her voice cracks, just slightly. He nods. She walks away quickly, not looking back. Malik stands alone in the park, watching her disappear. His phone stays silent the rest of the day. 3 days. No messages. Malik doesn't push. He sends one text the night after the park. "I'm here if you want to talk," and leaves it at that. Silence answers. He tries not to read too much into it. Tries not to assume the worst. But the quiet feels different now. Heavier. Like something fragile just shattered, and he's waiting to see if it can be repaired. Nia notices. Again. "Did something happen with the person you were seeing?" "We're not seeing each other. We were just—" He stops. He doesn't know how to finish that sentence. Talking, Nia supplies. "Yeah. Are you still?" "I don't know." She doesn't press further. Just gives him a look that's too knowing for someone her age, then goes back to her homework. On the 4th day, Malik's phone rings. Unknown number. He almost ignores it. "Hello. It's me." Irene's voice. Quiet. Tired. "Hey." A long pause. He can hear her breathing, steadying herself. "I'm sorry," she says finally, "for leaving like that. You don't need to apologize." "I do. You didn't deserve that." Malik sits down on the couch, phone pressed tight to his ear. "What happened wasn't your fault. I know, but I still ran. You protected yourself. That's different." Another pause. Longer this time. "Can I see you?" she asks. "When?" "Tonight. If that's okay." "Where?" "My place. I'll send you the address." He hesitates. Not because he doesn't want to, because he knows what this means. What she's offering. What it costs to let someone into your space when you spent so long keeping it sealed. "I'll be there," he says. "Thank you." The line goes quiet, but she doesn't hang up. Neither does he. "Malik." "Yeah. I'm scared." He closes his eyes. "Me too." "Okay." Her voice steadier now. "See you tonight." She hangs up. Malik sits in the silence of his living room, staring at nothing. Nia appears in the doorway. "You're going out?" "Yeah." "Good." She crosses her arms. "You were starting to mope." He laughs despite himself. "Was I?" "A little." She smiles. "Be careful." "Always am." She rolls her eyes and disappears back into her room. Malik checks the address Irene sent. It's across town. 30 minutes in traffic. He leaves early anyway. The building is taller than he expected. Glass and steel rising clean against the evening sky. Security in the lobby. Elevators that move too fast. Irene buzzes him up without a word. When the doors open on the 14th floor, she's waiting in the hallway. She looks different. Smaller somehow. Barefoot. Hair tied back. No armor left. "Hi," she says. "Hi." She steps aside, letting him in. The apartment is spacious. Minimalist. Everything in its place. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlook the city lights stretching endless below. Malik stops near the entrance, unsure where to stand. "You can sit," Irene says gently. He moves to the couch. She sits on the opposite end, tucking her legs beneath her. For a moment, neither speaks. Then Irene exhales slowly. I didn't think he'd find me. Trevor. She nods. I left. Changed my number. Moved here. But he has ways. Connections. Money makes people tell you things. Malik listens without interrupting. He doesn't want me back, she continues. He just doesn't want me to move on. To prove I'm fine without him. Her voice hardens. To prove he didn't break me. Did he? No. She meets Malik's eyes. But he tried. Malik leans forward slightly. You don't owe him anything. Not your time. Not your fear. Nothing. I know. She pauses. But knowing doesn't make it easier. No, it doesn't. Silence settles between them. Not uncomfortable. Just honest. Irene shifts closer. Not touching. Just nearer. I asked you here because I didn't want to be alone, she says quietly. But also because I didn't want to disappear. I do that. When things get hard, I vanish. You didn't vanish. You called. Barely. Still counts. She smiles faintly. Does it? Yeah. They sit there, the city humming quiet beyond the windows. Can I ask you something? Irene says. Anything. Why are you here? Really? Malik considers the question. The real answer. The one that scares him. Because I don't want you to face this alone, he says finally. And because I'm tired of being safe. Irene's breath catches. Just slightly. She reaches out. Slowly. Her hand finding his. He doesn't pull away. They stay like that. Hands linked. Silence holding them steady. Eventually, Irene leans her head against his shoulder. Thank you, she whispers. For what? Staying. Malik closes his eyes. I'm not going anywhere. And for the first time in years, he means it. Morning arrives soft. Malik wakes on Irene's couch, blanket draped over him, sunlight cutting warm through the windows. She's in the kitchen, moving quietly, coffee brewing. He sits up slowly, stretching the stiffness from his shoulders. She glances over. Morning. Morning. Coffee. Please. She pours 2 cups, brings one to him. Sits in the chair across from the couch. Close but not crowding. They drink in comfortable silence. I should get home, Malik says eventually. Nia's probably wondering where I am. Irene nods. Does she know you were here? She knows I went out. She doesn't need details yet. Yet, he meets her eyes. Depends where this goes. Irene sets her cup down carefully. Where do you want it to go? Malik doesn't answer immediately. Not because he's unsure, because he wants to say it right. I want to keep seeing you, he says finally. Not rushing. Not pretending we're further along than we are. Just seeing where this leads. Even after everything. Especially after everything. She exhales slowly, something loosening in her expression. Okay, she says. Okay. Yeah. She smiles. Small but real. Let's see where it goes. They exchange another quiet moment before Malik stands, gathering his jacket. At the door, Irene touches his arm lightly. Malik. Yeah. This feels different. Good different or bad different? Good. Scary. But good. He nods. I know what you mean. She leans up, kisses his cheek briefly, then steps back. Text me when you get home. I will. He leaves the apartment, riding the elevator down with something light expanding in his chest. The drive home takes longer than expected, traffic thickening with mid-morning errands. But Malik doesn't mind. When he walks through his front door, Nia's at the kitchen table, cereal bowl in front of her, phone in hand. She looks up, studies him. You look happy. Do I? Yeah. She grins. It's weird. He laughs. Thanks. So, is she nice? Yeah, she is. Good. Nia returns to her phone. Just don't be weird about it. Noted. Malik pours himself another coffee, leans against the counter, watches his daughter scroll through whatever holds her attention. His phone buzzes. Thank you for last night. For staying. He types back. Thank you for letting me. 3 dots appear. Dinner this week? Your pick. Yeah, I'll find a place. Looking forward to it. He pockets his phone, smiling despite himself. Life continues. Steady. Uncertain. Different. But not empty. Not anymore. 2 months later, Malik stands in his kitchen, chopping vegetables while Nia sets the table. Music plays low from the speaker on the counter. Something jazzy. Smooth. The doorbell rings. I'll get it. Nia calls, already moving. Malik hears the door open. Hears Irene's voice, warm and easy. Hey, Nia. Hey, Dad's making that pasta thing. Hope you're hungry. Starving. They walk into the kitchen together. Irene carries a bottle of wine, sets it on the counter. Smells good, she says. Almost ready. Malik glances at her. How was your day? Long. Better now. Nia makes a face. You two are so gross. Irene laughs. We're literally just talking. Still gross. Dinner comes together without ceremony. They eat at the table, conversation flowing easy. Nia talks about school. Irene mentions a project at work. Malik listens more than he speaks, content to just exist in this moment. Afterward, Nia excuses herself to finish homework. Malik and Irene move to the living room, settling onto the couch with the last of the wine. She's warming up to you, Malik says. Think so. She called us gross. That's basically acceptance. Irene smiles. I'll take it. They sit quietly, her head resting against his shoulder, his arm around her waist. This is nice, she says after a while. Yeah. Feels normal. Safe. It is. She tilts her head to look at him. You know, Trevor tried calling again last week. Malik tenses slightly. What did you do? Blocked him. Again. She pauses. I'm done running. Done letting him take up space in my head. Good. It's strange, she continues. I spent so long thinking I needed to have everything figured out before I could let someone in. But being with you, it doesn't feel like I have to be perfect. Just present. Malik pulls her closer. You don't have to be anything but yourself. I'm still figuring out what that is. That's fine. So am I. They fall quiet again, the house settling around them. Outside, the evening darkens. Inside, the light stays warm. Nia appears in the doorway. I'm going to bed. Night. Night, sweetheart, Malik says. Night, Nia, Irene adds. The girl waves once, then disappears down the hall. Irene shifts, looking at Malik directly. Can I ask you something? Always. Do you ever think about where this is going? Long term, he considers. Sometimes. Not in a way that scares me, though. More like curiosity. Me too. What do you think? She smiles softly. I think we're figuring it out as we go. And I'm okay with that. Yeah. He nods. Me too. They stay there, wrapped in each other, the night stretching quiet beyond the windows. No grand declarations. No promises they can't keep. Just presence. Just choice. Just the beginning of something neither expected, but both decided to keep building. One day at a time.